What's up, guys? In this episode of Project Civic Si, I tame my Civic's rowdy 3-inch exhaust with some choice upgrades. And it sounds a little bit like this. Now, in the last episode of the build with my Project Civic Si, I installed the Skunk2 Alpha long tube header along with a 3-inch GoPower exhaust. And unfortunately, I was not too thrilled with the final product because it just had so much drone on the freeway. Basically cruising in 6th gear, unless you're going over about 85 miles an hour or 4,000 RPM, the drone in the cabin, the vibrations, the tonality, the sound was just absolutely awful. And because this is a track day toy, but I still drive it to and from the track, that was not going to work for me. So I went ahead and sort of modifying the exhaust. I figured this exhaust was pretty inexpensive for me. It was worth it to kind of start cutting it up and changing things and really learning how exhaust tuning works. And so I figured the best way to explain this was to take the exhaust off the car rather than crawl underneath and point at things. And so I've done just that. And the exhaust is right over here. Okay, so here is the GoPower exhaust separated into 3 nice pieces so it all fits in the shot here. This is the mid pipe, which rolls into this bend with this resonator and into this rear muffler. Now, if you notice, when I bought the setup, it actually had 2 resonators, one in the mid pipe and this one, then this rear muffler. However, as you can see, I've gone ahead and changed that. The first step was to actually delete the resonator in the mid pipe because when you were sitting in the car, when I was driving it around, it seemed as if all the drone was directly under my driver's seat where this resonator was. Now, by deleting this resonator and just having the single resonator and the single muffler setup, this actually did control the freeway drone, which was what I was after. However, in deleting the resonator, the tonality of the exhaust was kind of awful. It was really raspy and the overall volume had increased significantly. And I was just not pleased with the final product, because while I had lessened drone, I had increased overall volume. So the end result was a car that was still very, very loud to drive when cruising on the freeway. My next step was to replace the rear muffler. Now, I had my sneaking suspicions that when I grabbed the original GoPower muffler and gave it a little shake, I could hear some stuff rattling around. And so I ended up picking up this. This is a Vibrant 1103. It's a street power muffler, 3 inches in, 3 inches out. And I had this welded in place to the original muffler. And doing this was the big transformation that this exhaust really needed because the original muffler had just worn out a bit. The packing in the muffler started to come loose, and that probably explains why the overall volume was so high and why the sound was not that pleasant. So in installing this Vibrant Street Power muffler, it has absolutely changed the tonality and the overall volume of the exhaust, something that is more reasonable as far as I'm concerned. It is still extremely loud, as you heard in the introductory clip, but it is actually much better than it was before. Okie dokie, so with this modified GoPower exhaust, I have tamed the awful freeway drone that this setup once had and made this much more livable every day. Now, in my opinion, the volume overall is still way too high for me personally. I'm a little bit older, in my 30s, live in a quiet neighborhood, but it is much more livable for me, at least for the time being. Am I completely thrilled with it? To be honest, no, but it does get the job done. And I do think that when you drive this car aggressively, at full throttle, when you're driving hard, it sounds great. I mean, I'll cut to the clips again. I have this nice longer shot of me just driving the car with the exhaust mic'd up and the interior mic'd up, so you kind of hear what the car sounds like inside and out. I will leave you guys with that because it is much more useful than me just blabbering. But overall, much more livable while still sounding pretty brutal at wide open throttle. So here is a video of me driving through the canyons, kind of low throttle, flat out, cruising in higher gears. So you can kind of get a feel for what this thing sounds like now. So as you can see, quite loud, but much better to deal with. And I think if I can kind of summarize everything here, if you're looking to build an exhaust for your Civic Si, 3 inches is definitely the way to go for peak power. As you know, K-Series love to breathe. However, you obviously need to be very careful when it comes to mufflers and resonators, because if you have the wrong setup, it'll just sound obnoxious. The thing I've really learned is to have a different shape in your exhaust. So I have a round resonator and an oval muffler, and having those different shapes in the exhaust can capture different frequencies and exhaust pulses and really control the overall tone. Alright guys, hope this has been helpful for you. It's been helpful for me to learn quite a bit about how exhausts work, especially on naturally aspirated four-bangers. That's all I got for this episode. If you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe if you've not already. And yeah, my name is Jake. You've been watching Drive, Brake, Fix, Repeat, and I'll see you guys next time where I go do more fun things with cars. Bye.